driving to the ranch. Car having trouble.
So much of this they've heard, but
Not
well,
all
there are
of us.
Well,
two
different
parts,
families for
two
different.
parts of driving, two times of driving to the ranch. The ranch was really practically now in Los Angeles, but it was about a 3 or 4 hour drive, and we went. My father gathered us up every Friday. That's how he kept us such good kids. We weren't in the Hollywood Hills over the weekend.
So question, the ranch and the dairy were two different things?
No, they were the same thing.
Okay, so it was on the other side of the grapevine. It was north of the grapevine.
No,
South
Up
of
Mid
the
Canyon. Up
Did you have to
near
go
Mojave.
through the grapevine and then south, or no?
No,
South of the
South of the
grapevine.
grapevine.
West, well, let's see, it was north of Lancaster, I guess.
Okay.
And Lancaster.
and west.
And west. Anyway, every Friday night he gathered it. We went, you know, with want to or not. Barbara loved it. She just loved it.
Yeah.
Willie had a hard time because my dad put him in the shop straightening nails.
Shorty screws and nuts.
Starting screws and nuts, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it was a still, wasn't it?
That's why it turned out so.
Making some hooch.
And I was kind of, I guess, I really didn't want to go at all, but I was stuck. And I had to go up, and my first job when I got there was to get an inch of dust off the cooktop, all the furniture, because the wind blew and the dust was just. And so I was the cook, and we lived in two. Well, I'm meandering from what Barbara wanted me, but we lived in two different houses. We had one house. My father had the Olympics were in Los Angeles in 32. Well, anyway, and he bought some of the Olympic cottages that the athletes lived in.
Yeah.
So there were two of those on the ranch. Then there was a bigger ranch house and a smaller ranch house, and actually there was a boarding house there. There was at one point at least 20 adults on that ranch because it was a dairy and they hand milk. It was also had alfalfa. It was 400 acres almost of alfalfa. So it was not just, it was a major operation along the way. But when he gathered us up, we would go part way, and then we often stopped on the way up at some little funky restaurant, the same one, for dinner. And then we went the rest of the way. Well, on occasion, my part of the story is that he'd be really tired, and he'd say, "Fran, take the wheel." I was sitting in the passenger side, and he had his foot on the gas with his eyes shut, taking a little nap.
Oh, no way!
What if you
And how old were you?
Oh, I was, I don't know, high school probably. I didn't have a driver's license, or I would have been sitting in the driver's seat. But what Barbara's talking about is, I wasn't there, but why don't you tell this part of the story of getting up there?
Well, there was problems sometimes with the car.
Frequently with the car, which was a 7-passenger Lincoln.
And sometimes I'm trying to remember, Fran, you may remember, whether I sat in the front holding something or in the rear.
No, he sat on the front fender,
Well, that was
pouring
for that
gas into the carburetor.
That's right, that was one time.
Yeah,
While it was running.
Well, apparently I wasn't on this trip, and I don't think Willie was either. He was in the service, but apparently Barbara and Dad took turns sitting somehow on the hood, pouring gasoline into the car to keep it going.
Into the carburetor.
The carburetor.
The letter said every time it stalled out, you were
I
sitting
don't
up
think
there.
Dad sat on the fender.
Well, his letters to you said he did.
We read it to you last night. It said we took turns sitting on the fender while we
Creative
drove,
license.
pouring gas into the carburetor whenever it stalled out.